The movie begins with Hopper, an archaeology professor, and his dog, Boss, searching for his family who disappeared in a cave while seeking the Fountain of Youth in the 1970s. In the distance, Hopper spots another cave. Upon reaching its entrance, he encounters a cowboy frozen in time, dressed and armed in a manner incongruous with their era. Astonished, Hopper retreats and returns home. He had initially planned the exploration with his teaching assistants, Taylor and Jackie. However, upon his return, Hopper informs them of a change in plans and decides to venture back to the cave alone. Upon entering the cave, Hopper discovers a distinct layer separating the atmosphere inside from the outside world. Determined, he breaks through the barrier, causing the previously motionless cowboy to come alive. 2 days pass since Hopper's departure, but Taylor and Jackie remain unaware of his whereabouts. Concerned, they set out to find him. Since they lack their own vehicle, they reach out to Kara, Taylor's crush, and request the use of her father's SUV. Kara's sister, Vives, joins the expedition due to a school project, and they are accompanied by Vives' friend, Furby. Arriving at their destination, the children stumble upon Hopper's parents' van, which reveals that Hopper has been searching for his family within the cave all along, contrary to their previous belief that he was pursuing 1970s hippies. They discover an old rope leading to a different part of the cave, but upon closer inspection, realize it is not Hopper's rope as it is significantly aged. They also realize the depth of the cave. Despite Furby's fear, the children decide to descend further into the cave, leaving him behind as a lookout. While descending, Kara encounters the same imperceptible layer that Hopper had discovered earlier, noting that it drastically alters the air. They decide to break through the layer. Meanwhile, Hopper, following the cowboy, begins to experience an eerie sensation. He witnesses an unusual dance of light as if someone is repeatedly illuminating and darkening the cave entrance with a tremendous flash. Suddenly, he hears a scream and hastily escapes the cave. When Hopper initially entered the cave, it was daytime, but after being inside for less than 5 minutes, he finds the outside world transformed. His car is engulfed in overgrown vegetation, and night has fallen. A few minutes in the cave appear to equate to decades outside. Spotting Kara's SUV and Jackie's backpack, he resolves to re-enter the cave. Returning to the kids, as they explore, they are startled by screams. The girls, beginning with Jackie, decide to leave the cave. However, their escape is hindered when the rope is abruptly severed, causing Jackie to fall and both her and Taylor to sustain injuries. Taylor attempts to retrieve the second rope, only to discover it has also been cut. The group suspects Furby of intentionally cutting the ropes as a prank. Despite attempting to contact Furby via radio, they receive no response. Eventually, they hear muffled sounds from the radio, pleading for help and claiming to be Furby. Left with no choice, the group opts to venture further into the cave, leaving the injured Jackie behind. On the other side of the cave, the group stumbles upon another severed rope and discovers Furby's lifeless body, his neck broken. They decide to play the recording from Furby's camera to uncover the events leading to his demise. From Hopper's dad's journal, Furby reveals that the cave houses magical water with healing properties. Hopper's family had embarked on the journey to find the water when Hopper's sister fell ill. After spending several days outside the cave, Furby, assuming his friend was deceased, decided to venture inside in search of the car keys. While Furby experiences an entire day, the rest of the group only perceives a few seconds in the cave. As Furby enters, his rope is severed, causing him to fall but miraculously survives. He lies there unconscious for about an hour and eventually regains consciousness to converse with Taylor. However, their conversation is abruptly interrupted when a caveman attacks and kills Furby. Vives also notices something perplexing. The time code on the recording indicates several days have passed, despite them only being in the cave for an hour. With Taylor and Jackie injured, only Kara and Vives remain to find a way out and seek help. Considering Vives' age, Kara decides to ascend the same way they descended, eventually emerging in a completely different location. Surprisingly, there is no vegetation in sight, and the air feels peculiar, causing Kara to struggle with her breathing. She spots an approaching massive dust storm and a colossal triangular object in the sky. Unable to summon help, she returns to the cave but faces accusations from the others for not attempting to get assistance. The group realizes that time outside the cave is passing at a faster rate than inside, resulting in events within the cave unfolding more slowly. Taylor adds that the ropes on the cliff are aging rapidly due to friction, causing them to fray and sever. This revelation prompts Vives to re-examine Furby's footage, discovering that the sun's path constantly changes. She deduces that bright scenes represent summer while dark scenes represent winter, with a complete cycle of seasons occurring in just 1 second. Consequently, an entire year passes in only a second. Based on this, they calculate that approximately 5,400 years have elapsed on Earth since they entered the cave. When Kara attempts to climb the cliff once more, a futuristic and high-tech ladder materializes along with a gigantic being clad in a spacesuit. Suddenly, a caveman emerges and engages in a confrontation with the giant, who subdues the caveman without causing fatal harm. The group decides to flee to another section of the cave, where they discover the lifeless bodies of the cowboy and Hopper's parents. They also encounter 3 other cavemen. Taylor resolves to confront the cavemen but meets a brutal demise, while the girls escape to the other side of the cave. Kara returns to find Taylor's lifeless body and is confronted by the alien giant. The giant retrieves Taylor's body and carries him to a pool of water. Remarkably, the water miraculously revives Taylor. The cavemen return and attack the giant, resulting in his helmet being dislodged and exposing him to the unbreathable air. Nevertheless, he manages to capture all the cavemen before succumbing to his injuries. Before his demise, he shows the group various media clips detailing their disappearance and indicating that humans have started migrating to another planet to preserve humanity. At this point, the group realizes there is no way back and must decide between escaping the cave immediately or remaining there indefinitely. However, Taylor eventually discovers a gravely injured Hopper in front of another layer of wall, behind which Hopper's long-lost sister and frozen individuals from different eras are vying to obtain the Fountain of Youth. Hopper explains that the entire cave functions as a system designed to safeguard the fountain, with each layer experiencing time at a progressively slower pace than the previous one. The group uses the water from the fountain to heal Jackie's injuries and revive Furby, but they face another attack from the remaining caveman. With no other options available, they employ the high-tech ladder provided by the giant to climb out of the cave. As they reach the mouth of the cave, they discover it has been flooded with water. Kara attempts to break through the barrier but is suddenly pulled back by enigmatic creatures who are revealed to be evolved humans. Shortly after, a fully suited Kara returns to the cave with a high-tech rope to rescue everyone, including Furby, Hopper, and Hopper's parents. In the film's concluding scenes, Furby, Hopper, his parents, and his sister are all restored to life and find themselves aboard a larger spaceship headed towards the new Earth.